Welcome to Cody Yellowstone.
Cody, Wyoming is the gateway to Yellowstone National Park. Buffalo Bill founded this town in 1896 and made sure that anyone approaching Yellowstone from the east had to pass through Cody. When planning a visit to the world's first national park, make sure to set aside a couple of days to enjoy all the things to do in this Wild West region. Before we get started, why not subscribe to our channel? And while you're at it, click on that bell so you can be notified as soon as we upload a new travel video. Today, we're going to share the best things to do in Cody, Yellowstone. From exploring the ghost town of Kerwin near Matiz to the old stomping grounds of Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid.
We are visiting the old trail town here in Cody, and these are all original buildings from the 1800s and early 1900s. In 1967, they started to gather all of the original buildings because they saw that they were disappearing, and they relocated everything meticulously, piece by piece, to this trail town. There's an actual cabin where Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid stayed, and Jeremiah Johnson. If you haven't seen the movie, go watch it. Robert Redford stars in it. He is buried here. They relocated his body here, and actually when they relocated it and buried it, Robert Redford himself came and was a pallbearer for the funeral.
So we're in the hole-in-the-wall cabin, and what's so cool about this is where Butch Cassidy, the Sundance Kid, and members of the hole-in-the-wall gang actually walked through these doors, sat here, probably played cards. It's pretty amazing to have like these famous outlaws. This is where they actually hung out. Besides the hole-in-the-wall cabin, the mud spring cabin was also used by the gang as a hideout and is still intact. Several other cabins from colorful characters in the West are set up in their original condition. And you'll also see the home of Indigenous Army Scout Curly, who helped to guide Custer to Little Bighorn. For us, the highlight was the local general store and the saloon where Butch Cassidy himself frequented with the Wild Bunch. Yeah, this is the old saloon here. So again, Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid would frequent in here. It really is a good, that gives you a good idea of what the old saloons are like. They're cool inside. Just imagine this packed with cowboys.
Everything is so well preserved that you can still see the bullet holes in the doors when entering the saloon.
It's pretty amazing that all these buildings were moved and rebuilt here. It really walks you through the history of Cody and what it was originally.
There are monuments and graves dedicated to historical figures, museums displaying artifacts, and the grounds sit on the original site of Cody when it was first founded.
I can really see why this was the original site of Cody Town, because look at this backdrop. You have those beautiful mountains in the background. You're just surrounded by the beauty of Wyoming here.
A visit to the old trail town is an excellent introduction to the Cody Yellowstone region. We are in Matiz, which is about 30 minutes outside of Cody, and this is the place to get on your off-road adventure. We're heading up to the Kerwin ghost town, and I'm so excited. I hear the scenery is stunning, and it's supposed to be a great adventure.
The Kerwin Ghost Town Adventure is one of the best things to do in Cody, Yellowstone. As our guide and owner Thomas said, anyone from 8 months to 80 years old can get far into the backcountry to enjoy the striking landscape of this part of Wyoming. He rents side-by-side ATVs where visitors can drive themselves to the abandoned mining town of Kerwin. We've made it out here to Kerwin Ghost Town, about 2 hours in on the 4x4. We're gonna go check out this ghost town village. Should be pretty cool. Kerwin is located at 9,200 feet and surrounded by snow-capped peaks of the southern Absaroka Range.
So this is a really cool trip to take. You can rent side-by-sides and come up here yourself, or you can go on a 4x4 on a tour and come up to these abandoned houses and structures. This was a mining town at the height of the gold rush in the late 1800s, and it peaked at about 1906. It basically was abandoned after the gold rush, like so many places, fizzled. But all the structures are left up here in this extraordinary setting. The road is quite rough and you do need to come on a 4x4. I can't imagine them coming up here by horseback and wagon back in the day. Tough work, those gold miners. I love that you can go inside of these abandoned buildings. Now there's not a lot left inside, but you can get a feel for what it was like. You know, you got the skeleton bare bones of these log cabins. Some of them you don't necessarily want to go in too far. They feel like they might fall in on you. But yeah, we went inside and explored a few, and it's really cool.
The town is the destination, but it is the adventure along the way that makes this full-day excursion one of our top picks for the best things to do in Cody.
Well, this has been a spectacular day here on the Kerwin Ghost Town Adventures. It's just one spectacular view after another. Now, it's not only just the ghost town. You want to follow the directions that Tom gives you so that you can actually go and see all of these amazing landscapes. I feel like I'm on the African savannah right now. It's so breathtaking. And to actually get to see this and nobody is around, that's what makes this so special to visit. You know, in other places around the world that have views like this, you're fighting the crowds. We've just hardly seen anybody all day today, just been driving the roads, just looking at one amazing scene, all kinds of wildlife. You really have to do this when you come to Cody, Yellowstone.
Amazing!
When you come to Cody, one of the first places you should visit is the Buffalo Bill Center of the West. It gives you an overview of the city, the Wild West history, and Buffalo Bill Cody himself. The Buffalo Bill Center of the West is a massive complex of 5 museums under one roof. When you purchase a ticket, it is good for 2 days, and you are going to need it. The Buffalo Bill Museum is definitely the highlight, with authentic memorabilia from the possessions of Buffalo Bill and Annie Oakley. You'll see old stagecoaches, chuck wagons, Buffalo Bill's costumes, his gears, and all the performance attire that made him the greatest showman of his time.
Let's go! Make sure not to limit your time to just the Buffalo Bill Museum. We thoroughly enjoyed the Great Plains Museum to learn about the history and the culture of the Native American people who have inhabited these plains for centuries.
Well, this museum is fascinating. There's the Buffalo Bill part of the museum, and now we're going into the natural history part of the museum, so pretty spectacular. Let's go. The Natural History Museum is phenomenal, with displays showcasing the greater Yellowstone area, taking you into the sights, sounds, and smells of each environment.
Firearms are a big part of the Old West, and this museum has the most comprehensive collection of American firearms in the world. And finally, don't miss seeing the Whitney Western Art Museum. And make sure to walk through to the window to see the best view of Buffalo Bill's impressive bronze statue, the Scout.
We are driving the beautiful Buffalo Bill Highway between Cody and Yellowstone National Park. To put how beautiful it is into context, President Roosevelt said it was the most beautiful stretch of highway in the world. There are a lot of stops on the way to Yellowstone National Park from Cody, so give yourself some time if you want to see it. Buffalo Bill had a really smart idea. He wanted to make sure that anybody coming through from the east had to drive through Cody to get to Yellowstone, and that tradition has stayed forever. So make sure you spend a couple of days in Cody before you visit Yellowstone National Park. You won't regret it.
The 52-mile route has many sights to see, including the Buffalo Bill Reservoir, Buffalo Bill State Park, the Wapiti Valley, and the Shoshone National Forest. You can download an app called Travel Stories that will narrate interesting stops to keep an eye out for along the way. You'll see places like the Dr. Seuss-inspired Smith Mansion, working ranches, and incredible rock formations lining the highway.
There are so many scenic views along this highway. Don't speed through it. There's lots of pullouts where you can take in the views, and there's a lot of historic places, like the oldest ranger station in all of America is right here. Shoshone National Forest is the very first national forest in America, which is fitting because Yellowstone National Park just down the road is the very first national park in the entire world. So this has been used for over a century and they still use it today.
When you stop in at the ranger station, you'll be able to get information on Yellowstone National Park and hikes in the Shoshone Forest. Plus, you can see the original cabin that they used more than 100 years ago. It's still standing and it's still in service.
When you come to visit the dam, it is free to enter. They even have a free shuttle, and there's a fantastic visitor center inside to learn all about it. This was once the highest dam in America when it was built, and they used this model to build the Hoover Dam. So it's very much worth stopping when you are visiting the city of Cody.
The Buffalo Bill Dam was truly a wonder of engineering for its time. When you visit, you can walk right across the dam and look down either side. On one side, you'll look down the Shoshone River 280 feet below, and on the other is the Buffalo Bill Reservoir. The dam was built to create irrigation in the area, and today it provides water for more than 93,000 acres of farmland.
Inside, there is an interesting visitor center where you can learn about the building and benefits of the dam and watch a welcome video. This is one of the free things to do in Cody, Yellowstone that is not to be missed.
And you even get a shuttle so you don't have to walk to the dam.
Well, this is interesting. The Cody Mural is in the Church of the Mormons, the Church of the Latter-day Saints. So apparently there's a really beautiful mural up on the ceiling. So we're going to go in and check it out.
A unique stop is the Cody Mural and Museum. The free museum houses a one-of-a-kind mural on the ceiling of the rotunda. It tells the history of the Mormon pioneers and how they brought water and irrigation to the land. After watching the story of the history of the Latter-day Saints, there is a museum that houses works by local artists and images of original settlers, where you will learn all about how this community thrived and survived in the harsh conditions.
The Heart Mountain Interpretive Center in Powell is just a few minutes outside of Cody and is an important stop on any Cody-Yellowstone journey. The Foundation has preserved what remains of this confinement site that unjustly incarcerated 14,000 Japanese Americans during World War II. The tour begins with a film telling first-hand accounts of what life was like as people were ripped from their homes and placed in this camp for several years. It's a sobering experience and something that we all need to see. Sadly, we continue to see the human race repeating past mistakes. But with sites like this, we can hopefully learn and make sure we stop things like this from happening in the future.
So just a little farther up from the interpretive center is an interpretive walk you can do where they have some lookouts where you can actually see where all the old buildings used to be. Some of them are still standing, like the guard tower and the root cellar. And here you'll find a memorial to all of the soldiers, the Japanese soldiers that served in the World War.
Just hanging out with my pal Buffalo Bill here.
Downtown Cody was made for tourism, and there are plenty of things to do. We stayed at the historic Chamberlain Inn that was walking distance to everything. This was the choice hotel of Ernest Hemingway during his stay in Cody, and you can tour his room if it isn't occupied. You can see his typewriter, his signature in the logbook, and how the room was laid out when this legendary writer stayed here.
We're at the Chamberlain Inn in Cody, Wyoming, and he was here, he was writing. Register's right up there, typewriter over there. That Hemingway really does get around.
There's historic memorabilia throughout the hotel, and the rooms are chic and comfortable, yet they have kept their historic look, feeling as if you have stepped back in time. The Chamberlain is also home to the best cocktails in town.
So they say when you come to the Chamberlain Inn here, you have to have their old-fashioned. So here I am, having an old-fashioned. Ooh, now I know why.
Located across the street is the historic Irma Hotel that was built by Buffalo Bill Cody and named after his daughter Irma. There is a nightly shootout at 6 p.m. where you can enjoy some laughs, and no trip to Cody would be complete without going inside for a steak dinner and a tour of the iconic location.
Well, when you come to Cody, you have to eat at the Irma because it was the first hotel and restaurant in the area built by Buffalo Bill himself.
Yeah, you have to come here because it's so historic.
And don't forget to check out the Cherrywood Bar. It was a gift from Queen Victoria herself.
A great overview of Cody is the Cody Trolley Tour, and it is really entertaining. They put on a good show. I highly recommend it. It's only $30, and they are just great guides. They tell a lot of great stories, give you the history of the city, and of course, Buffalo Bill himself. So take this tour. You're going to get out and see all the major sites that you can go and check out on your own. It's worth stopping at the Cody Visitor Center. The log cabin is modeled after Buffalo Bill's very own log cabin from his ranch.
It was the original site of the Buffalo Bill Museum until 1969, and today it houses artwork and get information on attractions in Cody, Yellowstone.
Cody has a very storied and rich history, and it has the museums to prove it. There are a lot of free museums here, and one of my favorite is the Dug Up Gun Museum. You can't take any photos inside, but trust me, it's really worth going inside to see.
Wyoming is the rodeo capital of the world, with more sanctioned rodeos than anywhere else on Earth. And in the summertime, they have a rodeo every night at Stampede Park. It's not far from town, so make sure to get out there. If you're driving through Cody, another great place to stay is the Comfort Inn located at Buffalo Bill Village. The rooms have all been renovated, and you can walk to all the downtown attractions.
And those were all the best things to do in Cody, Wyoming. If you are planning a trip to Yellowstone National Park, make sure to spend a couple of days in Cody. It's where you'll find the authentic Wild West that you've always been looking for. If you enjoyed our video, make sure to subscribe to our channel and remember to click on that bell for updates because we have a new travel video coming next week.